Okay, now I want to open that one up in Blender. Let's go to shading. Open. I'll change it back to normal. Let's go to texture paint. I think I just want this a little bit lighter. I want it to be still wooden. I'll put a big blue question mark icon on the side. We'll create an icon now in GIMP in just a sec. We can change this to lighten. That might work as well. Let's just turn the strength down a little bit. Okay, a lot of bit. A little more. It's kind of washy. All right, let's try that. Just go across the whole thing, holding the mouse button down the entire time while you paint it. If you don't, it'll basically add coats, right? Add coats of paint. You just want I just want one, so I just hold the mouse button down and go over that entire thing once. Okay, now we have a little bit lighter. That's cool. I'm gonna go save image. Okay, random. Make sure it's the right one. I'm just gonna click it to be 100% sure. Save as. Let's go into GIMP. Let's go to. I've already exported this and saved it, but if you want to save your GIMP project, you can, right? And then you can open this up exactly the way it is again and edit this a different way if you want. I'm not going to save this. I'm just going to go File New, 1024 by 1024. Okay. And we could just close this right here and say Discard Changes. Sure. You don't have to. Do the same thing again. Let's erase completely. Let's change our brush back to the solid. Okay. Crank up the size. Whoops. We need to go Image. Layer, transparency, add alpha channel, just to make sure that we have a transparency channel. So you can right-click these little icons and change them to different ones, right? Like you can just add, you can kind of fill this up a little bit more if you want, but I just like to flip them. So you have hotkeys here for these as well. For this one in particular, it's R for rectangle, E for ellipses. So I'm gonna use the ellipses tool. Let's say expand from center. And we can change these to be to make a perfect circle if we wish. I'm actually going to do that. Change to 24. We can go in here to our fill tool again, click here, and that'll fill that whole circle there. And we can duplicate this layer to make things easier. Click duplicate layer. Say image or layer. Sorry. We can scale a layer just as we can scale an image. So let's change this to maybe 950 with this little chain link here locked or connected. It'll keep the height and width with the same aspect ratio, basically. So if it wasn't a perfect square, it would basically keep the bottom to the same ratio as the top, no matter what you changed. If you want them to be different, if you want to stretch it up a bit, just click this little link here and make sure it's not connected. Okay, I'm going to click Scale. This Fill tool, let's change this to a different color. Let's make this like a teal color. Yeah, let's go fill similar colors. There we go. Right, so if you don't have fill whole selection there, you can also hit select, none, and it'll remove your ellipses select. So that's what I'm looking for right there. Just select that background and go fill similar colors, and it won't stretch onto other layers like that. It'll just fill the circle. So there we are. You can click these little eyes to see your different layers, right? So we've just got the blue one on top of the white. Now let's add a text. I'm just gonna let's make this white again. Just gonna add a big question mark. Change the size 400 again. I don't mind this font. I think that's going to be just perfect. Let's go 600. Let's go 800. Okay, use this tool to drag it around. Let's stick this somewhere around the middle. Yeah, I think that's cool. We can come to our erase tool again if we want. And we can just start erasing stuff. Now, remember, you got to be on each... I think that'll work. Let's go to our blue. Just kind of scuff the edges a little. All right. Go to the last one, and we'll just get the edges around here a little bit. Something like that. And you spend all the time you like on this. Okay, I think that'll be just fine for me. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go File, Export As, right to my desktop. Sure, I'm gonna change this to Random Brush. Maybe that's not the best name, but that's okay. Export. Don't compress. Export. Cool. Let's go back to Blender. Textures tab, we can add a new one. Now, if we're just in our tab here and we wanted to use the old one again, if you click this little block here, it'll actually show up all the textures that you've loaded in. So let's open that new one, desktop. Here we are. So remember, come down to our textures section, reset, transform, image aspect. Let's go to the front view. Just make sure we're on mix at 100. Yeah, I think that'll be great. Okay, so I'm going to paint all these, and I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, so one way to fill these in, where I've used 100% strength, I can go, I can close this out and remove the texture. I can just hover over this, press S, and that is your quick eyedropper. So I press S over that, and I can just paint inside here if I want and fill that in. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let's go Image, Save As. Just make sure it saves as the right one, random, sure. Save. Okay, and we got 3 different boxes we can use. So let's go back into Unity and let's set those up. And we've got these extra textures here. So the exact same way we created the extra coins, let's just click this cube here. Let's go ahead and create the empty script for this one too, just so it's on all 3 prefabs ready to go. So in under scripts, just right click again, create C# script, just name this crate break. Okay, and just leave it like that. Just don't open it up, don't do anything about it. We'll get into coding in another episode very soon. Just come down here, add component, crate break, type that in the name of our script, remember. Click there. Okay, that's fine. Now just go up to overrides, and it knows that we added that to this prefab, so we can say apply all. Okay, and that does it to our prefab right here as well. We drag this in, we can see that it has our crate break right there. Delete. Okay, duplicate this. Just drag it over a little bit. And almost the exact same way. Remember, our materials have to go on each lot, so we come down here, select all 3 of these. Actually, first, let's duplicate this material. Control D. I'm gonna call this TNT crate. Okay, we can click this little texture here, and it'll take us right to our folder. Drag this in. Okay, there we have that. Let's select all 3 of these lots and drag in the TNT material. Very cool. Okay, so let's rename this TNT crate assets. Good. Drag that into our prefabs. Original prefab. Again, just double click. Make sure our position's at 0, 0, 0. Good. Okay, one more time for our random. Perfect. Okay, save, Control S. These big icons here, if you find they're getting in your way, just click this little drop down arrow under gizmos. Now you're going to see a lot of crazy stuff. On this 3D icons bar here, you can actually slide this bar and make them smaller. Don't make them completely disappear. They're actually nice to be able to see there, because if there's nothing, right? And then, and that'll be a little bit easier to navigate your scene without having those huge. You can also click the object if you want. And this little block right here, you can actually give it a little label, right? If I do that, we don't need the icon anymore. And the same thing with our light, right? Right. So it's important to mention you can't change very much or do anything in play mode. So if I click play now after doing all that, it'll actually change everything back, and that is good because any information you don't save within your game shouldn't change, right? So let's actually do that again right here. We'll get into that more at a later time, and we're gonna be coding again really soon. Okay. All right. So next episode, we're probably gonna go back into Blender. We'll create our character. After that, we'll look at special effects and particle effects for the explosions and stuff like that. Now, that being said, we've created these 3 here. We do want to also create 3 for the broken object, but we'll add some more effects to this one before we go ahead and duplicate it a bunch. So yeah, particle effects very soon. Character next. Hope to see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.